So in this video, we are going to be going over the LilNavBar. So let's go ahead and get that over with. Recall, that's for tiny screens. Okay, let's get started. So we can start by just making it appear so that we can get our footing. Go to nav buttons. This will be a button just like our normal button. Won't won't have a v4 per se, but let's go ahead and get it in for now. Call it a nav button. We'll just ignore the stuff for now. And I guess we'll ignore the label for now. Okay. Just should see it somewhere, huh? If I don't say, there it is. Okay, cool. Okay, so go ahead and pull up this other code. So the way that this works is a little special because it requires a pop-up, basically. Something called an ion popover. But this is the button itself, and when it's clicked, that's when it'll have to open the popover. So we've got the color, not the right text. So if we're setting the text, we can use a function. We'll just call it SB. It's a little nav text. Vad säger you complaining about? Uh-oh. Yeah, I guess it doesn't like spaces in between those things at all. Okay, so we'll make this reactive because this will be text that will actively change. Or it's not visible, it may not have to, but it probably does. Because, I mean, it could be if it is visible, so I have a feeling it probably just needs to be reactive. I mean, import. Rough. Not cool. From view. Okay. We'll have our, oh, I like to keep the defined props up here and then go to my variables. Our little nav text key folds rough. We just set it to that. Now it's just blank. Okay, so anytime we click one of these buttons, the little nav would change. But there are other times where, the home button could be pressed, right? The home button could be pressed, and that will cause it to change. And there's also some things that cause you to jump around that could cause it to change. So I think just focusing on the navigation is probably a good way to do that. And we would have to watch the navigation. So we would also import from view something called watch. Okay. And it looks like that. I also like to keep my, after my variables, I can keep my watches up there. So you can just do this with two parentheses, equal sign and arrows, and then some brackets. Basically. What was this counter? Don't quite remember it being formatted that way. This is if you're watching more than one thing, but you don't have to. Okay, I guess it wants to know what we're watching, but could just be watching the navigation, and that's fine. But yeah, that's fine. I don't think we need to watch the route because the navigation should change if the route changed. Like this is the route. if we switched the navigation dot menu index should change. So I don't think that's necessary. I'll try to keep this as simple and I'll eventually migrate the cleaner code over to the main code. Okay, so we'll watch the navigation. If the navigation changes, this is when we'll want to set the low mob. And I guess I had a separate function for that. I guess keeping a separate function for that is fine. But yeah, if the navigation changes, this is the popover, which doesn't exist yet. But it's basically saying that if we move for any reason, that this popover should close. And yeah, that seems right. So I'll just go ahead and do that now. I'll have to add a view variable for that. Bar pop over token equals ref. Um, uh, yeah. Okay. And we'll make a function called set LilNav. What the hell is that? This auto complete. I don't even know. My gosh. We have to set navbar index and you had a function set LilNav. Could say the LilNavBar index just to make it consistent. So basically, looking at the navigation, if the navigation was 0, we'd want the rainbow text, and if it wasn't, we wouldn't, basically. Seems simple enough. And then we could set the text based on our props, right? Because we have our props for the buttons that we're feeding in. And then we can use the index of whatever the nav bar has become. But really, okay, we'll just keep going. Okay. Little nav text. That value would have to equal with props.nav button, but we haven't even defined we have them right here. Const props. What the heck? I don't know why I did this. You don't actually have to do this unless you're actually going to use the props. Did I do this anywhere else? Nav buttons. And here. Okay. I only did it here. Why was this already like this? I guess I must have typed it here, but yeah. You could just use this unless you're going to use the props inside of the typescript, inside of your script. You really don't have to do that unless you're going to use it, but it was already there. Okay, .nav buttons, capital B, and we want to focus on the index because the navigation has changed. We're watching the navigation. If anything and it changes, we would look to navigation nav bar index like that. I think so. The navigation.navbar index, and that'll be our index to check. And inside of that, we want to get the text, right? And if you recall, that text is dot text. Dot text. So then it'll know what to be. Okay. And then there is the class for rainbow and then the color, which makes sense. The first one will be rainbow, the other ones won't. So I guess gonna need more variables for that, huh? We got our text, our class, and our text color. Text color. Which, I mean, the text color, isn't really going to change. It's really not. I feel like this should already be set. Yeah, I don't think we need a variable for this. Because if we're on the page, we fed in the color. It's right here. It's not going to change. I feel like we don't need this. We do need to set this, and this might change. So this might need to be reactive, but can always double check. Doesn't hurt to double check. So, yeah, the color for this should, just be the color name. I don't think we need to do that. Uh, this is for the words. Okay, no, this is a different color. This is a text color. Okay. The text color, I guess we would want to set. Okay. Okay. So maybe I confused the colors. This is the color of the text. It's not the color of the button. Okay. There's an error to be sure. That text little now class dot value equals rainbow text. And this is only if the navigation is 0, right? It's the first 110% open source or about or whatever. Okay. And no little map. And it's value equal nothing here. Class, what's different? The other one. Saying right. LilNavBar text color. Oh, Lil and little. Lil is Lil. It's Lil now. It's little, but we're gonna go with Lil. Little drip. And this will be nothing. And the text color will just be dark. Okay, so when it changes, we'll set it that way. But we also want to use these values, right? So we have our little nav text, setting the text for the button. Should just use, we're going to have to use a label, right? To be the same, to affect it the same way. Okay, so this will be a little nav text instead. And this will be a little nav text color. And our class will be a little nav class. Okay. Is she nutting? Something. Cannot read property of undefined reading text. Nav button. View 56. Reading text. Well, nav bar index. So it says line 56. Let's go look at it. Line 56. Uh, I wonder if it's talking about this specifically. We come back here in the regex page. Oh, no, it's not text. It's LilNavBar text. But, well, now, should be this and not that, but there might be something else going on there, actually. It's not even the right text. Did you refresh? Okay. Let me see. I had seen this, but yeah. Usually that just mass stuff. Doesn't necessarily fix it, but it checks to see if it exists or doesn't exist. Let's print it out and see what we're seeing exactly. So if we do this a console, which is also part of debugging, or the easiest way to debug is just to print out to the console. Console.log C's use in here as well. What are you seeing? Undefined, undefined, undefined. So that's not cool. So what is undefined exactly? Props.nav buttons spelled right. Okay, so we see something. It's in there, obviously. 110, 110. Okay. And it's the nav bar index, right? So if we do this and say 0, you say index is 0 here, and say .id. We'd expect some IDs to come out that we're not even using at the moment. Log 110. Yeah, so no, actually, yeah, no, that works. So then let's check this and see if this is a given enough what we would expect. Just given us index that we would want. Now that's undefined and that's not cool. So why is this not getting set? When we click these buttons, it's supposed to get set, right? Console.lie, right? I gotta see indexes here. So that does seem to be fine. But clearly there's something wrong. Actually, okay, this is the number that we're feeding in, but the number that we actually care about is this one, right? Oh, there's a capital B here, but it's not like that. There is no capital B. You be fucking myself up in the worst kind of way, huh? So yeah, it's really this. This is what we care about. Okay, if that answers that question. Oh, I kind of feel like showing you how you would debug something or figure out something wrong is important. So I think that this is important. I'm kind of mostly avoiding that, which is not realistic. Code is an iteration of spending hours of like, what the fuck is wrong, and trying to figure it out. Right? It's really what it is. So okay, I should really be more consistent with that, or just yeah. Mhm. There we go. Now you can see something, right? And that is something cool. Okay, so let's just be more consistent. We're just going to make them all capital B's. So let's just copy this and Control Shift H. We're going to replace the whole project with a capital B, and we'll make it match case. So and hit this, replace all the parentheses in 4 files. So be consistent and should help us avoid that. Also, we have this twice. Need this, get rid of that, and then that will get rid of that. Cool. Okay. So that started has nothing. That's problematic, but yeah, we'll just keep going. But yeah, I'll try to. I think it is important to know how to print to the console, because if we go through this and you don't know how to debug when something's wrong, you shit out a lot. So, but yeah, I'll try to keep it down to a minimum, unless I can be really quick about it. Okay, so slight problem here is a percent on this frequently asked questions on a LilNav. That's the Jesus pages. Come down here and get rid of it. So the little nav bar, right, as we said, is not getting the value initially. Um, there is another view related function that we can call called onMounted, and it's called when the component is mounted. In this case, the nav buttons. When this is mounted, when the component is mounted, this activates basically. And I like to keep like my watch and unmount it and unmount it and things of that nature up here. So again, parentheses, more parentheses, um, arrows and brackets. Okay, and all we have to do is just set a little nav bar index on mount. So now it should happen when the component is mounted. So automatically it'll happen. Cool. So now it's never without a value. So it should always be highlighted, right? Because it'll be the only button when it is there. So that's pretty easy. We'll add an ID to it. Call it ID equals, well, now, I mean, it'll have other buttons. This one. If you want to call it selector, we can. Technically, it'll have other buttons, but they'll be smaller, but yeah, we'll say a little left nav selector. Why not? Yeah, just put it down here with an ID, do pound, and we just want to set, uh, so I think we'll need this border radius as well, right? See, he's not around because he's at border radius. So just that, and we should be good. Well, cool. So now it's basically acting the way that it should. It just needs to also, when you click it, have the other buttons pop up. You can also go ahead and just have it pop up based on that media screen query. Um, Looks like that, switching in between them. So, yeah, what was the last thing we did that for? I think the home button. Good enough. Nuns and blocks. Come there, nav buttons. Turn that down. We were using this side, these sizes. I guess we'll just do this for now. 1051. And just for Brave, we'll keep that this 0.9 here, but it's a little silly. So we got this little nav selector. Like this is for the big nav, and it's for the little nav. So we got, I don't know, we could say big nav selector. We need something to distinguish this. Sure. We'll say ID equals big nav selector. Okay. Mm, what did you do? Right. Was it displaying flats before, or what? Let me see. Would you rather be flats instead of block? No. Why is it different? Oh, I don't know. Shit. Could just. I don't see why I would do that, but display flats direction. Actually, rows default, so I don't think that'll do anything. Why is it doing that? I got rid of this. Why? In the. I mean, it should just be blocked. That's what I was using before. But something in line block. Okay, I guess. In line block. I've never had to do that before. Not really sure why, but it works. Okay, well, the little map is by itself, so there we go. At least it's working. This is having some overlap. We'll have to do something about that. But okay, at least it's working. Cool. I mean, here, yeah, just this. No, I guess I just did display nuns. I guess I didn't. Yeah, I basically told it not to exist before. So I guess it is slightly different than what I did before. So if I say nothing and just say display none, I guess that's technically less code, but interesting. But I guess that's why I had never seen that before. Well, interesting. Okay, but yeah, need to actually make it have a popover and work now. You want it to switch back to 110, be like that. So we can go ahead and also do that to the home button, right? Also make it less code. Okay, cooler. I think it was the only other media for the footer, but that was just changing from the flex direction to row to column, so that's not quite the same. Let me just make sure. Control Shift Tab search, home button, nav button, footer. So yeah, no, that is it. And I guess I'm not gonna call this big nav selector. It's technically a bunch of ion buttons, so I'm gonna just say big nav buttons. There you go, changing me, man. And I guess I'll make that a class instead of an ID. So there's more than one of them. Oh, big nav buttons. And this is a class now instead. Tag A. Now it works the same. Okay, something I actually forgot. There should be a little chevron on this button that kind of hints to the user that a drop down kind of comes. Not really a drop down, it's a pop over, but yeah, I'm missing that. And that is an ion icon. You can just import that. Let's see, let's just try going it in, see how that goes without looking at the previous code at all, or trying to make it match rather. Go ahead and pour the ion icon source, and we want a colon because it's not a string. And how's that look? Horrible. Okay, so it's coming to the side, and we want it to be under it. I wonder because I wonder if I just put a div on it, if that would automatically make it. No, it didn't. Oh, never mind. Let's at least get the. Actually, no, that looks pretty much this. Actually, I guess it looks slightly smaller. So, what did we do? We have an ID on it, little nav button container. I mean, really, we just need to hopefully just flex column on it. But anyway, this has this styling on it. Let's just uh, type the styling down. Uh, Will now chevron. Hi. I'm not sure. Have I ever said anything about these men functions? Basically, it takes whatever smaller, 20 pixels or 5% of the viewable width, right? As the screen gets smaller, what 5% is changes, basically. But honestly, I mean, oh, whatever. Just go 5, like 20, px, near semicolon because there's another line, and with command 8, 28 px. Okay. How'd you change it? Didn't see. Oh, right. There's no. This ID is not applied anywhere. Should be on you. Okay. Like that made it slightly bigger. Slightly bigger. Anyway, if we have our label and we have our icon, let's try. Let's just try doing this. Put both of them in a div and try flexing them as a column. Plus equals flex center and column. A bit high. Uh, yeah, definitely is. Okay, do we have any particular settings that we use, or what do we do? See it here. The ion icon is here. It's not mixed within this div. It's in its own div. That's not gonna make that thing come down, right? That's what is sort of margin. Well, that ain't gonna help. Margin left, margin top. This. Um, I mean, yeah, could do it inline, could have a class, uh, an ID in this case. We're not using it anywhere else, and it's so specific. Doing it inline, I think, is just perfectly fine. So we have this style equals blank. That kind of looks like too much in comparison, doesn't it? Hmm. Well, I will just raise it a little bit, huh? Mm, not so much. I think that's centered, probably. Centered it now if I know the home button seems to not be quite the same for some reason. I thought that I had already thrown the new home button in there, 100%. I think I also need to mess with my fonts a little bit, huh? Uh, oh, right. I don't have the ability to do that. Yeah, maybe do something about this now. What is it? Just the font sizes. I already have this here, right? Or is there something else? Um, mhm. I'm just gonna copy this stuff. I'm sure there are some people screaming like, "You don't have to type this stuff." And now there's some people that are probably like, "You probably should have typed it," or you're going back on what you said you wouldn't do. But I guess it's not really helpful, right? This is a paragraph. This A is a hyperlink. I guess we've never used this. This is this button is a normal HTML button. It's not a button. This TD is basically a table data. It's a cell and a table. This TH is a table header. Ion text area, ion inputs. Haven't used any of those yet. Um, Kind of looks like it's a little bold, doesn't it? What is causing it to be that way? Font bold. Are you using that somewhere else? Hmm. This is like in headers, header one, header two. Hmm. It is looking a little thicker than a Snicker for some reason. Uh, I must be doing this somewhere else. Let me search in the old project. Where are you bolding stuff at? So many places. Okay, so in the old project, we actually do have some bold going on in the nav buttons at you. And we even have a different font size for them. So I guess just gonna take this and go stick it somewhere. Probably just I don't know if we just put it on the button classes. If this it might be enough just to do that. Let's see. We okay, yeah, that looks like it's enough. Okay. Okay, well, that looks better at least. So I did momentarily stick it on the ion text and label that, but that would make all of the text everywhere bold, and we only want it to be bold in some places. So yeah, that's why we should only use the bold where we want it. Don't need a semicolon. By one line, don't need a semicolon. Yeah, but having bold on the headers, if we want the headers to always be bold and every single header to be bold, it makes sense to do that. But we don't always want the text or the labels to be bold. So that's why I must have done it that way to just only affect different specific places. So something to keep in mind. Okay, now let's finally work on that popover, huh? Okay, so going up here, the contents of the popover will be very similar to the big nav. I mean, the buttons will be slightly smaller, but yeah, if you go to the old project, that's basically what we see here. This is the little nav button on top. This is the big nav on bottom, but I reversed it in the new project. Makes more sense to me. And then we have the ion popover, which really, really looks like what's in the big nav, because it pretty much is. It's using the little nav text instead of the big nav text. It has probably some different sizing in it, but yeah, let's just go ahead and get something to appear. So come here, ion pop over, go ahead and import the pop over, and go ahead and uh big nav's here. Okay, Scion button. Just copy this. Wait a minute, this is wrong. This should be down here. This is a little nav. Okay, well, confusing myself. But when I'm done with this, I plan on just copying and pasting stuff from the new project to the old project so that they'll look the same. Okay, cool. I don't need that. Okay, so for the little nav, when this button is clicked, at click, we were gonna want to open pop over. But I think that's what called it, right? Yeah, open pop over, and we have this event that feeds into it, which you can feed values, which I don't think we actually need any. But I'm not sure if you still have to feed them in. I will put it in for now and then try ripping that out and see if it's necessary. But I have a better idea what it's for now. It's only if you really want to feed values into the pop over and what you're doing. We'll be down because we already have everything. So we can go make a function for that. I guess I'll put it at the top of the functions. Function, open pop over now. And then we're, okay. Says D, just a type event, right? Now it's a capital E. Capital E for event. Okay, cool. Yeah, we want to set popover open to true because it's been clicked. Makes sense. That value would equal true. And that indicates that the popover is open, basically. You'll get some of this other stuff on it. Where'd we go? There is the nav buttons here. Blind. And this, which we really don't need. Because we're not using it. And I'll see if I can just rip that out later. May not be able to, but we'll see. Okay, and yeah, there are some other things. Now it's gone again. I just have too much open. Oh, there it is. Now buttons. Okay, so on the ion pop over, and say we tell it it's open by that variable that we just set, right? Because we set it to true when it's clicked. That click, we open it, and we say that the value is true. Have event equals event. So I think you probably do need it. It probably needs that. Um, some other parameters. There's still the docs, which can go on because there's other ways to use it, but this is the way that I mostly use it. Did dismiss, and if we did dismiss, we want to set this value equal to false, false, and you want it to open at the bottom, and we want it to cover the thing that it opened from. Basically, that's what that cover means. It'll only go from here to here. That we can mess with some of those parameters and see what it's like when we don't have them, or set them differently. So the size, want it to cover. Okay, I will go slap down that event, which is here. Var, and it's rough. Check on the roughness, probably. It's lots of visual stuff happening. So I think that's it for that. And we have this stuff inside of it. Okay, does anything happen? Angry. It's trying to do something, like. Okay, so we actually do need to set the event. So it's clear that it doesn't work without it. It's got value. We'll pull this in. We pass that right on in. Refresh. Don't see anything, but something else. We are using this big nav buttons, and those are currently not being displayed, right? So we don't want to copy that. So there's something else that I definitely saying like this text. This text isn't right. This should be the little map text. You see on the spaces a little better. Or just put some comments, make it easier. Uh, all this. I do comments in HTML. Big mouth buttons. And then we'll just separate this with these popovers. Way it's a little easier to tell where we are. And call these the low mouth buttons. Yeah, this text should be not that text. Goes in there. Is that because I copied it? Okay, it should be it's like dot little nav text, isn't it? I think we set it here. Yeah, this is what it should be, not text. Okay, so if we don't do that and do that, okay, now something's coming up, comes up once. There's like a border and stuff, so we might need some more styling and something else. I see this, which doesn't happen on the other one, but it's a little bit of progress. Oh, right. I remember. So I know what that is, right? If we click around these words, it'll look bigger. But if we click on these words, it will match the size of the words. So we need to make these this word not clickable. We need a no click event, basically. Let's see. Do I have that in here as a class? Should just be a class. Yeah, no click event, which I think I would have inside of the behavior.css, huh? Yeah. So we'll need um a new CSS file for that. We'll call it behavior.css. It should look like that. Class no click event. So basically, we'll put pass the words, and we'll just be clicking the button so that it won't be affected in such a way. Let's go ahead and import that into main. Call it behavior.css. So now we can use this class, and we can add it to our little our label for our little nav. nav buttons, or here, this is the label. I think we can decide it here. I mean, you could decide it here, which is what I did, but technically it's well, I guess that would also affect the icon. Let's see, it was the icon also. Yeah, the icon as well. So I guess we should just put it on the whole thing. And then that should prevent that from happening, regardless of where we click. But now it's only happening once, but at least it's not small. Okay, so we can go ahead and fix the styling. There's some styling in here called popover button, and searching for it, it's just an ionic class, and there's this, and there's also a hover for it. So you can just copy this. This is nothing that we haven't used before, width and margin, and border width, and style, border style, opacity, underlining, text decorations. There's other decorations, right? But leave these underlines. Yep. And copy this over to our ionic.css to affect those elements. And then we can go apply this class, this ion pop over button to these buttons. And we'll just get rid of this nav button. And now that looks more like what we've been doing. Huh. I guess it's working now just because of the styling. I wonder what exactly in the styling fixed it. Or, maybe because of this nav button. I think so. Now it only opens once. Okay, what about this class keeps it from opening again? Hmm, something about this class. It's definitely not normal for it not to open again. We just start ripping some stuff out. What don't you like? Probably not this hover stuff, huh? Huh. Something. Something, something, something. Okay, I am not sure what is preventing it from opening more than once. And if I just get rid of it, hmm, I mean, that don't make no sense. Is it if you select something, you have the option to do it again? Okay. Is it because it still thinks that it's open? Okay, maybe it's something else. So if you select something, but if you don't select something and you click on the outside, you get this, and then you can't open it. So I think that's where it is. Not because of this class. Nothing to do with this class. Even if this class is here, you still have the same thing. But if you pick something, okay, so it has something to do with, I guess, maybe the dismiss. Need to figure that out. But we can go ahead and uh, just remove this, and this gives us the styling. It's almost where it needs to be. Yeah, almost. You can see it remains selected. We've got underline. So almost. It just doesn't like the dismiss, which has something to do with this, which does not pop up in the other project. So this first one that popped up, we can definitely get rid of because I know where that is. This other one's a little less obvious, but also I seen this optional question mark check. Uh, but we can get rid of that. But if we go to our app, 'cause this is the only aria hidden equals true, in the whole project. If you get rid of that, that should get rid of the first warning, I think, when we click on it. Nope, still there. Where are you seeing us at? Yeah, no, not helpful. And none of that happens in the other project. There's this WebSocket and stuff, but that's because it has to do with the Solana test validator not running, and it's trying to connect to it and can't. But no, it has no warnings or anything like that. Now, this will not quite that then. Okay, so concerning these warnings and stuff, it seems like there's a lot of people complaining about them in GitHub. Doesn't really seem like there's a fix going on for it, but what's weird is that yeah, those warnings aren't huh. These warnings were here a second ago and now they are. Is it just once? Okay, well, whatever. They're just warnings, but yeah, there's a lot of people complaining, complaining about them. But anyway, getting back to this not opening after you click and it being related to the dismiss, I did see that I made a stupid mistake where I said add dismiss equals like what we're doing, and it's just false. We're not doing anything. We're supposed to be setting pop over open equal to false, and that's how it knows that it's closed. So that was just a dumb mistake on my part. So now when we click outside of it, it counts as closing it and it gets set to default, to false, and now it works. And just ignore those warnings, I guess. But yeah, now that works properly, which is exactly what we want. And you can see it moving and changing and stuff. You can see that you set that to queue, you come back out, it's queue selected, set this to market, go back in. This one's set to market, 110, open it, it's highlighted. So now that's working properly. So that's pretty much all that we needed. Not quite here yet, but the last thing that we would have to do is set the page index to 0, because let's say we're here, or anywhere rather. We're here and we have our pages, our page index here, which is 0, and it starts going up. When we go to a different nav bar index, we're supposed to set it back to 0, so it throws us back to the front, which we don't have any pages yet, but that's the only thing that is missing. So we would just need to also do that when we set our nav bar index. So we just was this page index. We set that equal to 0, and then we would set it in here equals 0, although we have no pages yet, but this will save us some headache later. But yeah, it says pop over equal to false, which I think we're already doing it here, but so this is at this mess. Where else are we setting this to false? When it changes, navigation changes, which is the same, right? If the navigation changed and we moved, that would be the same. So if you set it, but I guess like if you click the same one? If you click the same one, nothing happens, I guess, but that should count for something. And then here, I'm pretty sure it counts for something, and it actually ends up throwing you back to the front, which I think is what that's for. So you end up throwing you back to the front. So I guess we can also do that. That's like a slight feature, so that way if you click on the same thing, it does end up doing something, and it'll close it. But yeah. So I mean, yeah, we would just also want to set it back to false, I guess, if we're setting um if we're setting it. So we have no page indexes to actually see that here, but if we clicked it, it would at least close and it would throw us back, which is what we want. This is setting the not. This is, well, that's not right. Why is that why is it not setting it anymore? Oh, oh, this should be page index. Okay. There we go. So now, and if we click on the same one, it should throw the page back to 0, regardless of where we are. So it'll throw us back to the front and it'll close. Okay, so now that I think that's everything now. So now we can take, this should be complete. It's our newer code, should be slightly cleaner, and it's what we worked through. So I will get out of here. Okay, it's real quick pass. Googly semicolons didn't really go over any refs and stuff or whatever. I mean the text does not change. I don't think that this has to be reactive. Oh, the little nav text does change, actually. This text changes. So if we made this not reactive, right, it was just like this. Yeah, seems problematic. Oh, right, we're doing dot value as well. We wouldn't be doing a dot value. It would just be like that, but I think that this will cause it not to update, right? See, now we click it and it doesn't change because it's not what the, it doesn't change all the time. Okay, so yeah, I would say that that does have to be reactive because it's changing. We want it to update the way it looks. The class, maybe that doesn't have to be reactive. All right, again with this, because we got, it's not a reference, so you don't do that LEO, but it might have the same thing, right? I mean, no, the class is always applied to the same button, so it's not actually changing. So that doesn't have to be reactive. So good. If it doesn't have to be reactive, we definitely don't want it to be. Good thing though. We're looking at it, and the text color. The text color technically doesn't change between them, like this one updates and changes, but these do not actually change. So I have a feeling that that may not have to be reactive either. Make our application faster. All right. We'll not have text color or we know that values here. You done. Okay. No. Say problem. So that does have to be reactive. Okay. Pop over open in the event. Hmm. Um, I think that this has to be reactive, right? Because the popover actually does open. You could try. No data values here, but it does open and it does move. So I have a feeling probably, or maybe that looks like it because it looks like that dismiss isn't working. Because it's up here and you're expecting something. All right, so and the event is probably the same. And I don't even know how to put in a fake event or a no value for it. And it needs a type because it doesn't. Okay, let's say any. Actually, instead of any, I mean, any is just kind of universal when you don't want to specify the type, but we actually did know what type it was. It's a type of event. So we could just put that to make it more specific, I guess. Um, yeah, just to make it more specific doesn't hurt anything to be more specific when you can. So yeah, and just gonna go throw this in the other one. This might be out of order in the videos, but yeah, throw this in here. There we go. And see how that goes. So that is still working. And the dismiss is still working. So maybe the event actually doesn't have to be reactive then, but the popover being open and setting it to false and stuff does. So that should make our application faster. Having stuff taking away reactive stuff that didn't need to be reactive. So this still seems to work. Okay, cool. I would say that was worth looking into then. Okay, so now that seems acceptable, you could just copy all of this stuff and just throw it into the old project. That way we can keep the code the same. It won't be like, oh, we got the code in the video doesn't even match what's in GitHub. I mean, yeah, that wouldn't really be cool, but yeah. You can see that the styling is a little off, but still works. You can fix it. That's not as big a deal. So yeah, cool. Okay, so now that we have all that working, got this working, closes when you click the same thing, should throw you back. In the next video, we can actually add in some pages and finally get some pages going and get those displayed. So we will work on that in the next video. So I will see you then.